Zinzan Brooke, cult legend and one of the best to ever do it. And who could forget that drop kick?
He's trying a drop kick from a million miles out. What a goal!
Situation, look at this guy, Zinzan.
And it wasn't his only one.
He's kicked it over, and look at that by Zinzan.
He's been living in England for decades. He's had his ups and downs. I met with him at Windsor Rugby Club.
All right, kia ora. Hey, it's awesome to be here at your the last place you played rugby.
Yeah, lovely little place, and we got a reasonably good backdrop.
Yeah.
And given the castle is right under your nose, which is fantastic.
And what was it like having Zinzan, an All Black legend, come over here?
We just didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Hang on, no. We knew Si was down here, and we knew there was a relationship. And then the next thing we know, Zinzan's turning up here. As I say, I played with him in our second team. I've reffed him as well. Not very easy.
Tough gig.
One of my toughest gigs that was.
In 1997, Zinzan was appointed a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit for his services to rugby.
Do you reminisce about those times much, like being in that All Black jersey, doing that drop kick, getting those tries?
Yeah, I do, but it's like moments when you sort of see footage when you come on, when you go to a World Cup here. It's exciting. I absolutely loved it. I do reminisce, and those are pretty special moments. Someone's done a profile of you, and you get like about a 4 or 5 minute Zinzan Brooke moment, and you're watching some of your highlights. And when I look back, you sort of think, bloody hell, you had some skills.
Yeah.
And I, and it was just enjoying it, and part of giving back and making people enjoy the game of rugby. And it was absolutely, it was a beautiful game.
And what about that transition from retiring from rugby? Lots of athletes, doesn't matter what the sport is, struggle with it. How did you cope with it? Because you were a superstar in New Zealand rugby, right?
Yeah, but probably the transitional side of it for me as a rugby player was the fact is that I experienced amateur, because remember in 1987. I was a plumber and gas fitter. Yeah. And
different times, eh?
Yeah, different times.
Yeah.
And it was the trainings were Tuesday 6 o'clock, Thursday 6 o'clock, play on a Saturday 2:30 p.m.
Yeah.
And that was it. So the transition from the amateur to professional, and then coming back into the amateur was quite easy. Actually doing a day's work, as a farm boy. That's part of the journey. I remember milking the cows before, because part of the Saturday morning was getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning. There were 4 cows to be milked, and the cow. This is quite scary. I even know the name of the cow, whānau.
Yeah.
She was the cow that I milked. She was a Frisian, and it was and that was part of the journey. Was that at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning, milk the cow, put the bucket of milk in the fridge, and then you filter it when you get back.
Yeah.
So I actually loved my journey as a rugby player, and for the short experience, a professional rugby player.
So before there was the Barrett brothers, there was the Brooke brothers, right? And
the BBs.
You guys were the best in the world. What was it like playing with, obviously, Robin, and your other brothers?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was an absolute delight. I experienced international rugby with my older brother Martin. He made the Māori All Blacks.
Yeah.
And that was, and we toured, we toured, and it was very enjoyable. And
that was a stacked Māori All Blacks team too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was, and everyone was available.
Yeah.
And we had an absolute blast. It was, 30 Māori boys on a tour. You just go, woo-hoo. Yeah, it's fantastic. Robin sort of, he was an accomplished athlete as well with, basketball and athletics, and we were all involved in sport. I treasure those moments actually playing with my younger brother, and he was a bloody good lock.
Talking about brothers, we've just had the passing of Sid Going, and those brothers were quite legendary. Just any comments on Sid?
When I first started playing provincial rugby, Sid Going was my hero. I loved what he did. Super Sid. Yeah. He was just a beautiful human being, and he played the game in the right way. And he was Yeah, he was amazing.
You're from Ngāpuhi, eh?
Yes, Ngāpuhi.
Yes. What's your journey been like in the Māori world? Did you have much to do with it growing up?
Well, not really, because yes, I had a lot of whānau and a lot of we had a lot of lot of weddings, a lot of tangis, and and part of that there, all my cousins, they're more to the Kaikawe, Keri, and yeah, it's fantastic. But when we grew up, and it's probably partly to do with financials of how we were as a youngster, because we just had a basic upbringing, but there've been moments where where do you get the next meal from, and what you can't be doing is just going willy-nilly and thinking that everything's going to be fine, because sometimes it doesn't, and it doesn't happen. And there have been numerous occasions where you sort of think, okay, right, it's squeaky bum time, and but you got to get it right and address the situation. And but we don't want to be driving all the way up north to family to well, we probably should do, but it was difficult doing that and identifying it.
After rugby, Zinzan and his wife got into property. They've seen it all, the highs and the lows of being a business owner. They made millions, they also filed for bankruptcy. And Zinzan has been open about it ever since.
What's that been like for you, to be, telling people you've been bankrupt, you've done well in this, done not so well in that?
It's not a proud moment, but at the end of the day, the consequences you got to deal with them. And look, we've my wife and I, we've had those moments, and times have been difficult.
What did you learn the most about the tough times, I guess?
The tough times.
Yeah.
The tough times is making sure that what we did, as what I learnt as a youngster, was the roof over your head. Make sure all your loved ones, mum and dad, when they were struggling, they loved you even more. Yeah. And I remember that like it was yesterday. And so it's those situations. It happens, and it happens to a lot of people. And I've experienced that, and it's part of that journey. So I try and keep it nice and simple, and don't complicate it, and just stay within your boundaries of what you've got, and make sure that you do the right thing.
Zinzan has never shied away from sharing his views on rugby and even politics.
You've got to respect people's opinions. Sometimes you get it right and wrong, but it's part of the process, part of the journey of living life. And and I can put my hand up to know that I've got things wrong, but I know when I've got it right, and that's worked. I'm always up for having a bit of a chin wag on certain issues, but I try not to do too much with the what's that stuff called, the alcohol, isn't it? The beer. Oh, yeah. yeah. So there's times and moments you got to pick, and the consumption overweighs the logic of this is not the right time, Zinzan, to actually have a chat, because you've watched the whole Test match, but you've necked a few. So you got to take a breather.
These are the guys that you play with, don't they?
Why did you choose this club of all the clubs in the world to finish your rugby career?
I chose rugby because this club, because my youngest brother Simon was here, and I'd never played, and then I thought, what? Because of that, I'm going to go and play for Windsor.
Do you think you ever move back to Aotearoa, New Zealand?
Aotearoa, yeah.
You miss home?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I miss home. Yeah. Yeah, missing my dad. I'm seeing my sister's looking after Dad right now, and he's coming up 98 now.
Oh.
He's a very special man, and he's a cool guy.
Yeah, and, great father, eh?
Yeah, great dad, and gave us all the opportunities that we took and blossomed and went through, and he's part of that journey, and my mum, it was always, and my dad used to, every Saturday morning, he would religiously make sure that we'd have a bucket of Milo, and then it was always like 12, 15 cups, and it was absolutely, so special, and it was, beautiful human being, and great father.
Oh, shout out to your dad here.
Sandy, love you, absolutely love you, and you're just a great dad and a great grandfather.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Cheers, bud.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.